Hi everyone, welcome to my channel where I will crochet it forward and show you how to make this very cute teddy bear. This teddy bear I've made to match this blanket, this baby blanket for a friend of mine's baby. She had a baby, and I also made a bigger one for the older sister, so she's not left out. This is not my pattern. It's a free pattern. I will link the website. I printed it. I actually seen it on Pinterest. And what it is, it's made out of a flat pattern. And you make the pattern and you make an extra row to join, and then you repeat the pattern and you fold it and then you sew it and you come out with this really cute little person. This is super duper beginner friendly. It's all single crochet. You don't really need to know how to do too many stitches. I walk you through it, and I'm just hoping to reach out to some beginners that might be a little intimidated by doing crochet stuffed animals in the round with increases and decreases. Oh my god, I can't talk today. So the materials you're going to need are obviously some fiberfill. I'm using Yarn Bee Soft Secret. For my bear, you're going to need some crochet thread or a thinner thread for the eyes and the paws. I used a 4.5 millimeter, and I suggest that you use the suggested or recommended yarn hook that's on your label. You're going to need a couple sewing needles, some scissors, and some kind of ribbon if you'll be going that route. So the brand of yarn is going to determine how big your bear is. I used Red Heart Super Saver for this pink one with the recommended hook, 5.5 millimeter, and this one is about 9 inches, measures about 9. I used a Big Twist, I think that's the Joanne brand, for him, and a 5.0 millimeter hook that's recommended, and he measures about 8, so it's going to differ. So I wanted to mention that. So for this video, I'm going to go ahead and use Yarn Bee Soft Secret in the color of Mist, and the recommended hook size for this is a 4.5 millimeter, but it is a knitting recommendation. It doesn't have a crochet one for some reason, but I'm going to go ahead and use a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. So this is the pattern. One thing that I noticed right off is in the number 1 it just says start, and then it goes into number 2 where it says now do 10 rows of 6 single crochets. But as I read through the pattern, she does chain 1 and turn, but she doesn't use those chain 1s as actual stitches. So from the fact that we have to make 6 single crochets, we're going to start out chaining 7. 6 plus 1, the turning chain, for a total of 7. So let's go ahead and do that. Get your slip knot. I'm going to try to get this a little closer. And we are going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 1, your turning chain, which we are not going to count as a stitch. So we're going to skip that, and then a single crochet is going into your stitch, which is our chains. Yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over all 2. That is a single crochet. We're going to do it again. Insert your needle in your stitch, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 2. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And she does say to chain 1, turn your work. So we're going to do that again. We're not going to count the chain, but we're going to go right in here in that very first single crochet. We're going to do the same thing. 2 loops, yarn over, pull through out 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And make sure you're going through both of those. Let me show you up close here. Both of those loops. Now my tension is a little tight, so I tend to naturally just crochet a little thicker. But if you look, oops, there we go. Right here where you see this sideway yarn and then the front one, and it looks like a sideway V, you know, always make sure you're going through both of those, okay? Because you don't want any unnecessary holes. Okay, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and then go ahead and crochet another 6. So I will show you this last row together. 2, 3, 4, oops, lost them all there. 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3 rows. I'm going to go ahead and make 7 more rows, and for a total of 10 rows, and I will meet you back. All right, so we have our 10 done, and you should have your tail down here in the lower right hand corner. So we've done the first step, the second step, now we're in our third step, and it says when you have finished the 10 rows for the arm, chain 12 plus your 1 for your turning chain to the left of the head, turn, skip over the turning chain, and crochet back. So we're gonna go ahead and crochet, or make 10 chains, 12, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. She said plus 1 for your turning chain, and now we're going to turn our work, and we're going to go ahead and crochet. Let's see, go this way, turning it, and this is why I thought a tutorial would be really helpful, because I got really confused with the directions. So we're going to go ahead and go into our first stitch. Second, it's not that you'll skip that chain, the turning chain, I'm sorry. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and your 12th stitch is always going to be just before the stitch from the arm, and that's 12. So now we're back to our arm. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we have 8, and make sure, I forgot to mention, make sure you're going through 2 loops every time you're at an end on your side. So now it says for the left leg, chain 16 plus 1 for your turning chain to the right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and chain 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me make sure I'm in the frame. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, plus 1 for your turning chain. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and chain back to the head. So we're still right here with our tail in your lower right hand corner. This part is your head, this part is your legs. Okay, your head is going to have 12 stitches and your legs are going to have 16. So we're going to go ahead and do just like we did for the head part just a little while ago. We're going to go back and chain. So we're going to skip that first chain and we're going to go into the second chain from the hook. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So we have our head right here and we have the 16. So now we're going to go into the arm portion and continue counting and crocheting or single crocheting. So this is 17, whoops, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and be careful with your sides because they're gonna, I mean, yours might not be, but I tend to crochet tight, so I always have to double check to make sure I'm going through 2 loops. And this is 34. So 34 stitches is what we're going to be working with for the majority of this pattern. Okay, so now what we're going to do is chain 1 per the instructions. We're not going to count that chain. We have, okay, let me go back here. So I just finished there. Okay, I love this yarn, but it's so slippery. It slips off your hook. So I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, skip that chain, and go into that first single crochet and just make another single crochet all the way down. Okay, and we're going to do this for 7 rows. Okay, that's all you're going to do is go ahead and single crochet all the way down for 34. Be sure you're counting. Chain 1, turn your work, and go ahead and do that. We're going to do that for a total of 7 rows, and I will meet you back. Okay, so we just finished our 7th row, and I want to share that if this is curling up, that is completely normal. You're not crocheting too tight or anything. So if it's going to be even really curly when we start adding the other leg and the other arm. So at this point, you should still have your tail. You should still have your tail right here at your lower right hand corner. It would be in your lower left hand corner if you're left-handed. And then if you're not sure how many rows you have, if you pull these stitches like this from side to side, if you pull them, you can see what looks like a dotted line. That separates the rows. So that'll help you count to make sure you got the correct row count. So now what we have, you'll probably notice that your legs are longer and your head over here on your left hand side is shorter and thicker. It's going to stay that way. But what I suggest doing, and helped me a lot too, that I wasn't turning or attaching and flipping in the wrong way, is take a strand of scrap yarn and go ahead and then just attach it on here. You can use a slip marker if you want, anything that you want to just, you know, give you a little red flag there that this is the top. So moving on from the pattern, we're going to go ahead and in the 8th row single crochet 22. Okay, so we've done our 32 here. This is the 7th row. So we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and it says to crochet 22. So we're going to do that. As always, we always skip our chain. So we're going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and now what we're going to do is chain 12 plus 1 for the turning chain for the right leg. Okay, and I do want to mention, if you think I'm going too fast, or if I am going too fast for you, I'm sorry, rephrase that. You can always control the settings on your device by clicking, I think, what looks like the little wheel, like a flower wheel, and go ahead and dictate how fast and how, I'm sorry, don't dictate, but choose how fast or slow you want this video to go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, plus 1 for the turning chain. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and single crochet back. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and again that 12th stitch is that last stitch, or is this last stitch of the 12, but it's also the last stitch before you get to the working project. So now we're back here. We're going to go ahead and keep going. 12, 13, and I'm going to say we're back here to the working project. 13, 14, we're going to keep going. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and our last stitch for 34, making sure we're going through both loops. And again, that's the number that we want. Okay, we're going to chain 1, turn, and we're going to make 34 stitches, and I'll come back over here. Well, I'll stop, or I'll start recording, I'm sorry, and do this part with you, but it's the exact same as we did here. So maybe I will, maybe I won't, I'm not sure, but go ahead and make 34 stitches. You're going to come down here, chain 1, turn your work, and then do that for another 7. Well, this is 1 row, so we're going to do that for another 6 rows for a total of 7. Alright, so I'm at 22, and you should be right in alignment with where you separated or veered off to make the other leg. Okay, so we're at 22, and if you're not, maybe you've missed a stitch, maybe you should go ahead and take that out and restart it. 22, 23. Oh gosh, this is curly Q over here. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. It's going to be a little challenging when they get curly like this, when the limbs do. 31, 32, just don't give up. 33, and it's also going to depend how tight you crochet too. So if you keeping that in mind, knowing the sides are going to be a little more challenging, we might want to crochet those a little looser. 34. So we still have our 34. So that's our second row for our other leg. Now I'm going to make 5 more, and I will meet you back. Alright, so after you're done with your 7 rows for your other leg, you see how things are coming together, and it's still going to be curly. But I just wanted to let for the beginners, if you're not sure if you have enough rows there, by eyeballing it and seeing if these two look the same, your legs, you can always like flip it over and then see that they're equal. Or you can even measure them. I'm not sure what happened to my ruler, but that's also a thought too. So after completing your 7th row of 34 single crochets, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and then now we're going to single crochet 18 plus 1. So this is step 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I do want to apologize. I was not referring to the numbers on the written pattern when we were doing each section, so I apologize for that. So we're going to chain 1. Remember, it said 18 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work, skip that chain, and then single crochet 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and we do this for 9 more rows for your other arm. All right, so once you have finished your 10 rows of 6 single crochets on the directions, on number 9 it says do 1 extra row of single crochet to fold your work over later, which is going to be right here when we fold, because we're going to join the 2 pieces. So essentially we're making 11 rows of single crochets. So 1, I chained 1, turn my work, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 6. Okay, so there we have it. On the picture, the head is on the left side, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I get all that in the frame. So yeah, now at this point you're just going to start all over. Step 10 says the second part of the bear has to be done the same way. Start at point 2. So you go to the second direction right here. So we're right here. Let me see. Let's see. I don't know if you can have a glare. I got a protector here. Sorry, it's all wrinkled. It's been everywhere with me. So we're right here. We just did the extra row, and now we're going to start all over. So you're going to come down here at point 2 and start up. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back. All right. So your bear should be looking like this. I went on ahead and marked where the 11th stitch is. You don't have to do that. That's totally optional. But once you fold it here at the 11th row, it should look like this. And again, it's completely normal for it to be curling up. So the last step on the directions is to finish the bear. Fold your work in half and sew around. Leave the top of the head open, turn your work inside out, stuff it carefully, and close the seam of the head. Pull a piece of yarn through the neck and pull it tight to give it a nice shape. Form the ears, fix them with a few stitches, and embroider the face. Now your teddy bear is ready. So this is going to probably be very much crocheter's choice in terms of how you want your bear to look. So go ahead and grab your sewing needle, and you can go ahead and decide which side do you want to be the inside and the outside. Basically what we're going to do is match our stitches, because this is identical, and we're going to start, I'm going to start right here, go around under here, just sew, just a simple sew, and then when I get to the fold in the 11th, because remember there's 10 in front, 10 in back, and then there's that 11th row, I know that that's where I'm going to sew. And then so we're going to start right here and then end right there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. My sewing needle, and what I mean by matching stitches, I'll just show you a couple. We're not going to do anything like down here in corners. We're not going to put 3 stitches or anything like that. We're just going to do a very basic stitch. So we're going to match the first 2 on each strip. And then what I like to do is just tie a knot. You probably want a couple feet. Tie it really tight and secure. And then again, just want to show you, I'm just matching stitch for stitch. I might have made my string too long, but once you get that knot in there, and that's all you're going to do. Wait a minute. We're just going to sew in and out, matching those stitches. It's not nothing fancy. See these 2 right here? I'm just going to go ahead and do that. The next two, and they will line up. You will definitely see that they line up. So go ahead and do that piece. So all the way here, all the way to the arms, the sides of the legs, the insides, and then repeat. And I will meet you back here so we can do that right here in the 11th row, and so we can do that together. All right, so we're back up here to the folded part. I'm going to go ahead and take my yarn marker out. And grab my needle and then just show you real quick. It's basically the same. You're still doing the same thing, only this one is just folded, which makes it kind of nice because you don't have to mess around with trying to line up the front and back pieces. Just like that. And then again, nothing fancy on the corners. We're just not going to make like 2 or 3 stitches like normally do in crochet. Turn it over and then finish this part and then the side of the head right here, and I will meet you back. Alright, so I'm on my last stitch and I'm just going to make a knot, and that's just doing a regular stitch and then having that circle and stick your yarn through. You'll want to leave enough of a tail to sew the top part together, and now what we're going to do is flip this inside out. Alright, almost excuse me, almost done. I just want to give you a tip. I use the opposite end of my crochet hook to go ahead and like push out the ends. Okay, but being careful, you don't want to, you know, punch a big hole in there. So okay, this is what it's looking like. I know it doesn't look like a bear now, but please trust and believe it will come together. Now what we're going to do is stuff with the stuffing of your choice, and again still using the opposite end of your crochet hook to get into your limbs. Another pointer, you might want to fold down the head and then pull little pieces of your stuffing and do all of your hands and feet first. I'm sorry, I meant to say arms and legs. So what I do is I wait for it to stuff the head last, decide which side I want my front and which side I want my back, and I'm going to go with this side for my front. I try to go toward the middle of the stitch, and then this is where I'm going to put the drawstring, like right where the arms come together. Like I visualize a line there, and then I just go in and out. With some thread. Sorry, I feel like I have to cough here. And just like that. Once you're done coming around, I'm going to go ahead and take this yarn out, the needle off, finish stuffing my head, because we're going to need this closed, the top closed, in order to finish forming our head. And you decide how stuffy, how fluffy, there you go, not stuffy, how fluffy you want it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and thread my needle and sew this shut. So I have closed off the top of the head, and I made a knot. I'm just going to make another one just for safe measures, and then I'm just going to lose this thread and the inside, pull it out, cut it. We'll come back and form the ear. Excuse me, the ears later. Need some water probably. Okay, so what I've done is I'm just pulling this drawstring so I can try to get it more even. Now this is the back of my bear. Now we're going to form it, and this is what makes this pattern super cute to me and super unique and fun, is when you pull these strings like that, the bear's arms go up. Super cute. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to tie a knot. Okay, and then if you want more, because that's the front, if you want more definition, just make it tighter. If you feel that it's not even or proportioned, then you can go ahead and try to take it apart, or take the sewing out and then try to stuff it some more. So this is all I'm doing, is wrapping it around. I'm not worried about people seeing this because I'm going to put a ribbon there. And again, this is the back of the bear. Okay, now I'm just going to see how the front looks. Isn't that cute? Now I'm just going to tie another knot here and lose these ends, and I will come back and show you how to make a quick nose and a few details. Alright, to make a quick nose, I have the same kind of yarn, the same brand, and I'm just going to make an incomplete knot. This is the way I make my magic circles. You can make them any way you want. So I'm going to chain 2, and in this circle I'm going to single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can tighten the circle as you go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that first round is 10 single crochets. We're going to slip stitch to the top of the first single crochet and not the chain 2. Chain 2s do not count as a stitch. We're going to chain 2, and in that same stitch we're going to make 2 single crochets. So in each single crochet we're going to make 2 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then our last stitch, 19, 20. We're going to slip to join in that first single crochet, and then we're going to chain 1, and then you want to leave a long enough tail, I'd say about 12 inches, to sew. Fasten your circle, and now grab your black yarn. I am using a very thin crochet thread. I'm not even sure what it is. I got it from Ice Yarns. But if you don't have a thinner one, you can always unstrand like regular yarn that you have for this. Like I said, it's all going to depend on what brand you're using. So I like to put the tail at the bottom, and what we're doing is we're going to do a upside down triangle right here. Try to make it as even as possible. sure what's going on there. And then from here, you just want to come down to the bottom and make a line straight up to touch right here, the tip of the upside down triangle, like that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and keep sewing in here until it's all filled in, and then I'll meet you back. Alright, so I went on ahead and closed this up, just making stitches until there wasn't any more yarn, and then I tied it in the back. Be sure not to cut the yarn color of your nose. So now what we're going to do is just kind of position it on our bear. If you have some stick pins, it'd be a good idea to get it to sit still. And then we're just going to go ahead and just pick up one stitch from the bear and then go through 2 stitches of the circle. Okay, and then just do that all the way around, trying not to go, you want these stitches to be as much under the nose area. You don't want to grab a stitch out here, like, no, that's a no-no. You want to just grab them like right under, so they're barely noticeable, and then just go ahead and go all the way around, and I will meet you back. Alright, so we got the nose sewn on, and now what I'm going to do is just give you a couple details. I'm just going to like sew some paws right here. And I want to tell you, if you don't have a stick pin, you can easily just hold the bear still with your thumb. And just do like 3, try to even them out as good as possible, like three stitches for paws. Now, and I'm hanging on to the black here. I'm going to go through there once. And then I'm going to go under to get over to make the second line or second paw, and do the same thing. Just come in from the back and then come over one more time for that last one. And I'm going to do that for each hand. So I will come back here, where the ends are, tie a knot, lose those ends. Oops. And fix those. But I'm going to do 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, and 3 here. Real quick, I want to show you a little tip. So what I did is I did my 3 lines there, my stitches, and I've come back here under, and I'm going to tie a knot to secure. Then I'm going to cut that, and I have a smaller crochet hook on standby. And what I do is I like come down to the bottom of the arm and then come out where those stitches are, grab my ends and just pull them and lose them, just like that. Just wanted to show that real quick. Alright, for the eyes, you can basically do anything. If you want to put buttons on there, if you want to glue some eyes on there, I'm just gonna show you how I do the sleepy eyes. So I have my black, and I have a knot tied at the end, and I'm gonna come in through the back, and I have a pretty good idea of where I want my eyes. But to get the trick is to get them even. That's going to be the trick. So coming out straight across, and then I'm going to eyeball it and attempt to make them the same. It kind of looks like, oh yeah, they look pretty even. So back here I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to tie a knot. Well, I won't do this on camera. Tie a knot and then lose the ends. Alright, as far as shaping the ears a little better, what I did is just take a couple stitches, I don't know, maybe 1, 2, just to make it like more of a triangle, if that's what I'm looking for. On each ear. And this is optional. I mean, the instructions say to shape them. If you got a better way, and in my new pattern I do the ears completely different. But do you see how this one is a little more shaped than that one now? So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other one. Alright, so now we have the ears formed a little bit. Now on this one I got this ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and it's the Ribbon Boutique. And it just says pink and black, 100% polyester. Sorry about that. Anyway, it was on sale, so I thought if I go ahead and grab that, it's got some gray in it. I mean, the colors are perfect. We're just going to go ahead and then just tie so that we can hide that yarn around the neck. I don't have any specific way I'm going to do this. As you can see with the other ones, I made like a shell collar and then a tie. And then you can always make the bow part a little smaller. It's always good to get extra first, because you never know. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. But you see how you can make your bow smaller by pulling the tails of the yarn, of the ribbon, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm cool with that. Definitely do something with that. Maybe go off to the side. I don't know. Work with it a little bit. Might have to put a couple stitches in pink or something. But yeah, there it is. And there's the blanket that I made. This is also in my video on my YouTube channel. I showed you how to make a puff stitch border. But yeah, like I was saying with the other one, this is the shell collar that I did. Just a basic shell. What I did is I did it straight, and then, well, at first I chained and then measured to see how much I needed. And then I just did the shell stitch, which you can look up on YouTube. And on this one I just did a long, I think I did 60 rows of 4 single crochets, and then I tied a knot. So this is totally optional. And then on the eyelashes, I think I just tied knots right here at the end and just fluffed them out. That's optional too. So yep, this is the set. Again, be watching for my video for my teddy bear. It's definitely the concept is inspired from this pattern. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry if I confused anybody. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. Share the video. This video I'm going to save into my baby shower series. So yeah, together, let's continue to crochet it forward. Bye now.